I'm basically just gonna like go over a couple of tricks in Illustrator. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so everybody's here. How do I flip the camera? Okay, so I'm gonna like show off what I'm working with right now. So I'm working on my PC and pretty much this works pretty well so far. Um, Most people say that like um, kind of like Mac is like the industry standard, but I've been going okay with like PC so far. You just have to make sure you have to like have like a good monitor that shows like accurate colors and stuff. Yeah, okay. Alright, so yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be over Illustrator, which is like a vector-based program. So that basically means, hang on, let me make sure the camera, you can see my monitor. Okay, so it is a vector-based program. That means you're going to be working in lossless vectors rather than pixels. So if I were to say, like if I were to open Photoshop, so this is Photoshop, just to be clear. I'll draw something real quick, like that, and then I'll keep zooming in and zooming in. You're going to see pixels, and then if I were to take this and just keep resizing it, and then resizing up, and just like continue like, you know, screwing with it over and over, it's going to look even weirder and weirder. We've like lost some pixels here, and yeah. But if I were to go into Illustrator, I'll draw the same shape. Use the color gun. And let me get a really big stroke. If I would just draw something, I don't know. I'll keep zooming in, and like you're not going to see those pixels. It's just going to keep going and going. And then I can keep, you know, screwing around with this, and it'll like start regenerating. Yeah, so that's really one thing I love about Illustrator. It really is more for like design work and like industry stuff. So it's a lot more easier to be able to like go back and edit things. But like say like if you had like a design in Photoshop, like pretend you had this in Photoshop, and like, you know, your employer told you to change the color, or they told you to make it bigger. That would be much harder because, you know, it'd be manipulating it. You'd be manipulating the pixels, and you might eventually down and down along the road lose some of that. But if you were to do that in Illustrator, you like just can keep changing whatever you want. Hold on, wrong color. You can keep changing whatever you want. So that's really one great thing. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that. So, what's the next thing I need to do? Alright. So, I'm just going to open up the sample document that I made. I'm going to open that right here. Make sure it's a C. Oh, hi Sarah again. Let me check the comments. Would I do prefer vector-based programs over Photoshop in general? I've actually never tried a vector-based program that wasn't Illustrator, but if they're like Illustrator, then yeah, I prefer vector-based. But that's also because like I don't like draw or do digital art. I just do design or like sometimes vector illustrations. Will says, let's get designing. Hold on, I'm like trying to scroll through the comments without exiting the stream. Is Illustrator easy to use? I think a lot of designers that enter that first start off and like say like they came from more of the drawing side and they're used to doing digital art with pixels, they might be like really jarred once they have to try Illustrator, because then they're going to be confused as to like, oh, you know, why is this like a completely different like workspace? It's like it's just a lot more different, but once you get past like that sort of curve, then it's really powerful because first of all, Illustrator, like I really like it because I can just have lots of canvases. Well, not canvas, I mean artboards. I can open up like tons of artboards and kind of just work all in one document, and I can kind of sort out like my brainstorms, like my thoughts and stuff. Appleby Smith, you prefer Photoshop of Illustrator? Illustrator for sure, but I do use Photoshop when I do photography for editing, but that's pretty much it. Like Photoshop is just more of like a editing program for me. I don't really touch like designing in Photoshop. Especially, oh yeah, especially if you have like a computer that doesn't have like really good specs, Photoshop might like eat up like your RAM if you're doing things like text engine or whatever. Okay, so I'm just gonna like jump into the what I was going to teach about. So here's like a document that I just pre-set up earlier. Here's like a photo I took, and we're going to be editing a design on top of that. So the first picture, okay, so I just already wrote down the instructions at the left side just to make it easier for me. But I'm gonna start off with like sort of this warped line design, and you're gonna see how it's gonna end up. So I'm going to first start off with the line tool. I wish Photoshop had multiple artboards. It would be so helpful. Yeah. That would be a lot more helpful. Because like you can't really, it's really hard to like brainstorm and jot down stuff in Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to go on with this technique. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to hold shift to keep it straight. And then I'm going to make it white. I think 1 pixel's fine. Alright. So I'm going to go to Effect, Distort and Transform. Where is it? Effect, Distort and Transform. And then we're going to add a bunch of vertical pixels. Maybe like 3. Make sure it's previewed. And then we're going to add at least 150 copies. So you're going to see, oh wait, it is like way too bright for you to see it. I'm going to change the line color to red just for the sake of this tutorial, even though it looks ugly. Because it's like really bright on my screen so you can't really see. Object. So we're gonna go back. I'm gonna do that again. Effect, start, transform. Do like 200 copies, and then move it around 10 pixels. Oops. I'll try that again. Maybe 10, 200. What about that? Okay, there you go. See it? There you go. I'm just gonna zoom in so you can see there's just a bunch of lines that I copied. And then move it up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and then object, envelope distort. Oops. not selected object, envelope distort, make with mesh. And then that's just going to allow me to turn it into a mesh. So I think I'll add 3 columns and another row. 6, maybe 7. Okay, that might be better. Alright. And then basically what I'm going to do is take the... I wish I could zoom in. Take the direct selection tool. And then I'm going to be able to manipulate these lines. So I'm going to take that one. I hope it's visible. And then hopefully you can see, I'm going to zoom in more, that I'm basically able to take some of these points and just distort it, and it gives all this cool effect. Where's that other line? Where are you? Right here. Okay, I can take this line and sort of distort that. And yeah, I guess it does like these really cool effects. I'm like repeatedly trying to make sure I can see it on the phone screen. Okay. I think I like that. Actually, the red's not bad. I think this isn't too bad. It's kind of matching with her hat too. Awesome. Okay. Go back. It'll take me a bit to figure out what I want. Yes, very cook lip. Okay, alright. So that is pretty much it. And then if I wanted to sort of like mask off the subject, I could probably take this into Photoshop and use like a clipping mask and erase those parts. But I think I might try something else. Maybe I can do this. That kind of looks cool. Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like continuously playing around with this to see what I can do. Oh, cool. And then I'm going to hold Alt and then click and drag, and that'll make a copy of it. Maybe I'll go the other way. I kind of like this. It sort of looks like a piece of fabric flying over her. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna move on. Wait, edit a little bit more. Awesome. Okay, I like that. And then now I'm going to add some text. Text is Illustrator is especially good with text compared to Photoshop because obviously it is vector, so it's going to load much faster and be easier to work with. So I'm gonna add some random words. Make that red. And I'm gonna pick a typeface that I like. Let me zoom in a bit more. There we go. How long does it usually take to finish these? That's a good question. Definitely, like, I remember, like, in my graphic design classes, one project would usually take, like, 3 weeks or a month, so it'd be, like, 3 or 4 projects per semester, and I like that they give us a lot more time to continuously improve the projects. Like, it would be several critiques before we actually get to the finished product. Specific typeface I like? Definitely for, like, title and stuff that I can go a little more crazy with typefaces. Typefaces like, let's see, Good Brush. I really like this typeface. But with the red on top of it, it looks a bit like murderous, so I'm gonna go to something else. What do you often like to design when you're Illustrator if you love to do photo work? You say you often like to do superimpose. What do I like to do when I'm Illustrator? I like playing with type. Okay, I'm going to do the next thing. So we're gonna distort this text. Object expand. And then we're just gonna expand it, and that basically turns the object into outlines. And then at that point you can't edit anymore, so you gotta make sure you got what you done, and then you can turn it into outlines. And then we're gonna go to object, go back to envelope, start again, and then make with mesh. And we're not gonna use too many rows. If I add too many rows, it'll be harder for me to manipulate. So 4 columns. Actually 3, not 3. Alright, okay. And then I'm going to go back with the direct selection again, and then manipulate this type. That's real fun. I think I might try to make it like follow along with the graphic in the background. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to keep messing with this. Okay, and then let me zoom in more. Awesome. Okay, so let me get my phone off the mount so I can zoom in. So basically, that's a lot better. You can see better. So that's pretty much the final product. Yeah, let me know if this was helpful, and that'll be the end of the tutorial. Thank y'all for tuning in.